Hi everyone. Before we get into Revelation chapters 10 and 11 on Sunday, I'd like to briefly say something about the section of the book of Revelation that we're in at the moment, with lots of vivid and frightening images. First, it's good to keep remembering chapter 7, which showed us a vision of when this world is done and when we will be with Jesus and when God will wipe every tear from our eyes. That time is coming, and so we're to understand that the things that are symbolized by the various images in other chapters are just temporary. They will not go on forever. Second, all the things mentioned in chapters 6 to 18 in groups of seven seals, 7 trumpets, 7 thunders, 7-headed dragon, 7 angels and 7 plagues, and 7 bowls of God's wrath, they are not separate things. They are different camera angles on the same thing. They're different camera angles on life in the world where there is opposition to God and to his people. They are all showing us the same thing, just from a different angle. I wonder if the image of a roller coaster might help us to understand how these chapters work. You know how roller coasters work. They start off and climb very high, and then at great speed they drop down, frightening everyone on board, and some of them do what is called a corkscrew, where they do a number of full rotations, turning you upside down, doing the same thing over and over again, before eventually getting to the end where everyone is just delighted to have survived. Well, chapters 1 to 3 in Revelation are like the roller coaster climbing. There is a beautiful vision of Jesus in chapter 1, and then he reveals 7 messages to his churches, urging Christians to stand fast in their faith even when it's hard. The top of the climb is in chapters 4 and 5, where we see Jesus glorified on the throne of heaven and being worshipped. And the church is reassured as we see Jesus ruling over all. But then from chapter 6, the roller coaster drops back down to earth at great speed as it leads us into the first revolution of the corkscrew. The seals of a scroll are opened, and they reveal the judgments of God on the earth. And you wonder who can survive. But chapter 7 reassures us again that those who have been washed by the blood of Jesus will be safe. And then in chapters 8 to 11, 7 trumpets are blown. It's the second revolution of the corkscrew, showing natural disasters and pain and death in the world, and persecution for God's people before the end comes. Then there are several other loop-the-loops on the roller coaster. 7 angels and 7 plagues and 7 bowls of God's wrath. These are not new events. They are just different ways of covering the same ground, urging all humanity to wake up and smell the coffee before the final judgment comes. And then, from chapter 19 through to chapter 22, we'll see the return of Jesus and the glorious new life in the wonderful new creation that awaits all who have persevered with true faith in Jesus. Well, I hope that helps us to understand this weird but very wonderful section a little bit better. See you on Sunday.